respect to the demigods and great sages, as well as their forefathers. Worshipping sun is give the health to the human being. At least early in the morning we should offer little water to the sun god. As it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord has no specific duty to perform in this world, and yet he acts just like an ordinary man living an ideal life within this material world. In accordance with the Vedic ritualistic principles, the Lord would offer respect to the demigods. The regulative principle by which the demigod and forefathers are worshipped is called tarpan, which means pleasing. One's forefather might have to take a body on another planet, but by performance of this tarpan system, they become very happy wherever they may be. It is the duty of the householder to make his family members happy. And by following this tarpan system, he can make his forefathers happy also. As the perfect exemplary householder, Lord Sri Krishna followed this tarpan system and offered respectful obeisances to the elderly superior member of his family. And his next duty was to give cows in charity to the Brahmanas. Lord Krishna used to give as many as 13,084 cows. What an exact number, huh? Each of them was decorated with a silken cover and pearl necklace. Their horns were covered with gold plating and their hooves were silver plated. All of them were full of milk due to having their firstborn cows with them. And they were very tame and peaceful. When the cows were given in charity to the Brahmanas also were given nice silken garments. And each was given a deer skin and sufficient quantity of sesame grains. The Lord is generally known as Go Brahmanya Hitaya, which means that his first duty is to see to the welfare of the cows and the Brahmanas. Thus, he used to give cows in charity to the Brahmanas with opulent decoration and paraphernalia. Then, wishing for the welfare of all living entities, he would touch auspicious articles such as milk, fire, honey, ghee, gold, jewels, and fire. Although the Lord is by nature very beautiful due to the perfect figure of his transcendental body, still he would dress himself in yellow colored garments and put on his necklace of Kaustubha jewels. He would wear flower garlands, smear his body with pulp of sandalwood, and decorate himself with other similar cosmetics and ornaments. It is said that the ornaments themselves become beautiful upon being placed on the transcendental body of the Lord. After decorating himself in this way, the Lord would then look at marble statues of the cows and calf and visit temples of God or demigods like Lord Shiva. There were many Brahmanas who would come daily to see the Supreme Lord before taking their breakfast. They were anxious to see him, and he welcomed them. His next duty was to please all kind of men belonging to the different caste, both in the city and within the palace compound. He made them happy by fulfilling their different desires, and when the Lord saw them happy, he also became very much pleased. The flower garlands, betel nuts, sandalwood pulp, and other fragrant cosmetic articles which were offered to the Lord would be distributed by him, first to the Brahmanas and elderly members of the family, then to the queens, then to the minister, and if there was still some balance, he would utilize for his own personal use. By the time the Lord finished all these daily duties and activities, his charioteer, Daru, would come with his wonderful chariot to stand before the Lord with folded hands, intimating that the chariot was ready and the Lord will come out of the palace to travel. Then the Lord, accompanied by Uddhava and Satyaki, would ride on the chariot just as the sun god rides on his chariot in the morning, appearing with his blazing rays on the surface of the world. When the Lord was about to leave his palaces, all the queens would look at him with feminine gestures. The Lord will respond to their greetings with smiles, attracting their hearts so much so that they would feel intense separation from the Lord. Then the Lord will go to the assembly house known as Sudharma. It may be remembered that the Sudharma assembly house was taken away from the heavenly planet and was re-established in the city of Dwarka. The specific significance of the assembly house was that anyone who entered it would be free from the six kinds of material pangs, namely hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, old age, and death. Haribol. These are the webs of material existence. And as long as one remained in that assembly house of Sudharma, he would not be infected by these six material webs. The Lord will say goodbye in all the 16,000 palaces, and again he would become one and enter the Sudharma assembly house in processions with other members of the Yadu dynasty. After entering the assembly house, he used to sit on the exalted royal throne and would be seen to emanate glaring rays of transcendental effulgence. In the midst of all these great heroes of the Yadu dynasty, Krishna resembled the full moon in the sky, surrounded by multi-luminaries. In the assembly house, there were professional jokers, dancers, musicians, and ballet girls. And as soon as the Lord sat on his throne, they would begin their respective function in order to please the Lord and put him in a happy mood. First of all, the jokers would talk in such a way that the Lord and his associate would enjoy their humor, which would refresh the morning mood. The dramatic actors would then play their parts, and the dancing ballet girls would separately display their artistic movements. All this function would be accompanied by beating of mridanga drums and the sound of the veena and flutes and bells, followed by the sound of pakhwaj, another type of drum. Along with this musical vibration, the auspicious sound of the conch shell would also be added. The professional singers called sutas and magdas would sing, and others would perform their dancing art. In this way, a devotee, they would offer respectful prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes the learned Brahmanas present in that assembly would chant Vedic hymns and explain them to the audience to their best knowledge. And sometimes some of them would recite old historical account of the activities of prominent kings. The Lord, accompanied by his associates, would be very much pleased to hear them. Once upon a time, a person arrived at the gateway of the assembly house who was unknown to all the members of the assembly. And with the permission of Lord Krishna, he was admitted into the assembly by the doorkeeper. The doorkeeper was ordered to present him before the Lord, and the man appeared and offered his respectful obeisances unto the Lord with folded hands. It had happened that when King Jarasandha conquered all other kingdoms, many kings did not bow their heads before Jarasandha. And as a result of this, all of them, numbering 20,000, were arrested and made his prisoners. Haribol. The man who was brought before Lord Krishna by the doorkeeper was a representative messenger from all these imprisoned kings. Being duly presented before the Lord, the man began to explain the actual situation as follows. I think we should stop here to be punctual, and I think it would be nice to follow. So we can know now that in the morning what the activity we should do. And we will see in more detail activity throughout the day, which will give us some guidance what activities that we should perform as a ideal householder. So we will stop here, and I would like to appreciate all these devotees who is taking great austerity to wake up early in the morning, which is not that easy unless you determine to do it. So I would like to offer my humble obeisances at the desk of these wonderful Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis who join every morning from Houston, from Fresno, New Hampshire, Aurora, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, Virginia, Boston, Boise, Atlanta, Phoenix, Tempe, Austin, College Station, San Jose, Portland, Dallas, Detroit, Chicago, Naperville, Philadelphia, Charlotte, Baltimore, Baton Rouge, Alachua, Orlando, Sanford, Jacksonville, Loganville, Georgia, Maine, Ottawa, Toronto, Calcutta, New Delhi, Pondicherry, and Pickering near Toronto. Thank you very much. I would like to offer my humble obeisances, and we will continue the chanting for Hare Krishna Mahamantra.